Hi guys, it's Lanikia, and I am coming to you with The Act, Season 1, Episode 6, called A Whole New World. So, now we're at the part where Dee Dee has, Nick has killed Dee Dee. So the scene opens up and you can hear, Dee Dee, someone's at the door and Dee Dee realizes it. So you can hear her asking Gypsy, who is that? Who's at the door, whatever. And then you can hear her start to scream because, of course, Nick is attacking her. And so then we go back to 1991 where Dee Dee is giving birth. So this is what we have been saying. But this is what we have been saying about wanting to see like how this all started. How did Dee Dee even come up with this? So we finally get it on this episode. Honestly, out of all of the episodes on the act, this is my least favorite. Honestly, it was my least favorite episode. I'll get into it later. But okay, so Dee Dee is giving birth, and so she finally gives birth, and they're just saying the baby, they're gonna get the baby out because she's the umbilical cord is wrapped around her neck. But they tell her no big deal, it happens. You push her out, and we're gonna take care of her. So they tell her she has a healthy, beautiful baby girl. They give her the baby, and then the next thing we see is Dee Dee's mom comes bulldozing in the room. And she is like in charge, take over, and everything. And so she tells the nurse about, oh, the baby still, she just came out. So she says the baby needs to be cleaned and all that. And of course, Dee Dee is the mom, and she's like, well, I wanted to do, that. She wanted to give the first bath, and her mom is just like, no, there'll be time for that later. The mom is pretty much acting like this is her baby, like she is over all of this. Now they did tell Dee Dee while she was in the hospital, they said, what are you gonna name her? She says Gypsy Rose, and they said what about the father and everything, and she doesn't say anything, so they tell her, well, we'll send you paternity papers home, so that if you change your mind or whatever. But anyways, with just that part, you can tell the grandmother is overbearing. So then we go flash forward, and after Nick kills Dee Dee, we see him go out to the car because they had a taxi waiting, y'all. And listen, I don't know, because it is based on the real story, but of course everything is not true, and so I don't know how much of this that we're seeing is true or not. But anyway, so they had a taxi waiting, and Nick is like, the woman's like, where's two? And he said, hold your horses, because Gypsy has to come out. So he gets I'm drinking some water. I went to the gym. So he gets Gypsy to come out, and everything, and they're gonna start this new life. And Nick is just ecstatic in that back seat. He is so happy because he finally gets to be with Gypsy. So we see them go to the hotel room, and Gypsy walks in, and the hotel room is a mess. Nick has not, I was like, they don't have housekeeping. So the hotel room is a mess, but Nick tells Gypsy Victor didn't have, I think he said Victor or something, didn't have time to clean up and everything. But Gypsy takes 2 pills, that her mom had been taking. So Gypsy takes 2 pills to relax. And then they get into their role play and everything, and they record themselves. Is that part true? Because I read the basics of the story of what happened. I didn't go into all the details on everything that happened with these two. As far as I just know they got caught. I didn't know, so is that made up? Did they that fiction? But anyways, so then Gypsy is with Nick and everything, but you could kind of tell that she's starting to have regrets about getting with him, and what they've done. You could start to tell. She doesn't say anything, but you can start to see in the look on her face, and she's like looking around like, this is it, because she's been trapped, and so her idea was more, it's more romanticized about what would happen. And Nick's, honestly, he's not it. So then we go to Dee Dee is upset because Gypsy won't breastfeed. She won't take the milk. And her mom, of course, is criticizing her. Her mom is criticizing her, and Gypsy stops crying whenever her mom holds her and everything, and that happens because I've seen it happen where, new moms are, extra sensitive, because it is, especially when you're being criticized and her mom is criticizing her, and then, your baby goes to your mom and she's quiet and everything. So she's just in her feelings about stuff. Um, but Dee Dee feels like something's wrong with Gypsy, so she says, me and you are going, she tells Gypsy, we're going to go to the doctor. You and I are going to go to the doctor and get checked out alone. And her mom, and then the next scene we see her mom came, because her mom is just pretty much like, you're not doing this on your own, sis. I'm going to be right there with you. So her mom is right there with her as she goes to the doctor. And the doctor lets her know that Gypsy has failure to thrive. And he says it's not serious. She's just losing weight. And so he's going to give her some special formula to go along with the breastfeeding. And Dee Dee is like, well, my mom won't let me feed her in the middle of the night. She tells me not to wake her up and all this kind of stuff. Because her mom is really, I know I keep saying that, but she's super overbearing this whole time. So then we see Dee Dee's cousin is just like, I just fed mine off my formula. What you're doing, all that. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion for Dee Dee on how she should raise Gypsy. And so Gypsy, this is one time Gypsy's mom does take up for her, and she tells the cousin, like, be quiet. Everything can't, like, what happened with you isn't guaranteed to happen with Dee Dee or whatnot. But the thing that you see even with this is that Dee Dee wants to be with Gypsy on her own, but her mom is always there because she's living with her mom. So of course her mom is there. But even though she's living with her mom, it's like she could have gave her some privacy with Gypsy. But she doesn't. She's like always there. So then we go flash forward and we see Nick and Gypsy become upset. Okay, so Nick and Gypsy check out to the hotel room, and they're about to catch a bus, and they're wanting to go and eat breakfast or whatever. So they go to this place and they get breakfast, and the waitress makes a little snide remark at Gypsy, and Gypsy looks at Nick, I guess she felt like he was going to defend her, because Gypsy is used to her mom defending everything, and she doesn't, like, she's been sick. Like, people didn't treat her like this in the world. They were always really sweet to her because she was always this sick little girl. So she looks at Nick to defend her with the waitress, and he's distracted, I guess, looking at the menu, or so he was doing something else. So then they're sitting there, and you can tell Gypsy is upset because she's starting to realize that maybe this isn't what she should have done. Now the police come, 2 cops come in, and they're talking to the waitress. And Gypsy has to take more pills because her nerves are bad. Her nerves are shot at this point. And Nick is trying to tell her, like, Gypsy got on my nerves in this scene. Because Nick is trying to tell her to calm down. Like, they don't know anything. Just, chill out or whatever. And she's just being Gypsy, acting like a child because that's how she's been treated. And she's so afraid. And so then the cop comes up to her because when she she gets her pill, but she dropped her bottle on the floor, her pill bottle on the floor, which is actually her mom's pill bottle. And so the police officer says, is this you or whatever? And she said, yes, I must have dropped it. So then they hightail it out of there, and go to the, so then Gypsy, Gypsy was nervous because they still had the knife on them. And I'm like, why do y'all still have the knife that you killed your mom? Like, that doesn't make sense. So Gypsy comes up with this bright idea that, okay, to get rid of the knife, we're going to mail it to ourselves. So they mail it to them, and Nick is like, oh, you're so smart. Or what? I'm like, that is not smart. That is the worst plan ever. Like, what are y'all doing? But anyway, so they is that part of the story, y'all? Like, I don't believe they did that. But I don't know because I didn't get that deep into it. Like, I just read over like what happened as far as Gypsy, having to be sick, pretend to be sick and everything. And I did not get that deep into the story. So is that part of the story? I don't know. But that's silly. I mean, that could be the worst plan I've ever heard of. Like, mailing yourself the weapon. That can't be real. So anyways, we flash back and now we're in 1993. So the police come. So Gypsy is, how old? 2 years old now, and the cousin is there, and she's asking Dee Dee, where'd you get the camcorder? Y'all remember those? Oh my gosh! But she's like asking Gypsy, where'd you get it? Dee Dee, where'd you get it? And Dee Dee's, she's enthralled with Gypsy and just happy to be a mom. Okay, so then the police come to the door, right? And so they say, where's Dee Dee? And of course her mom gives her right on up. And they're like, what did you do? Excuse me. This must be some kind of mistake. Well, Dee Dee has wrote a check in her grandfather, and he's pressed, I think they said her grandfather, and he pressed charges on her. And I mean, she was wrong for it, but oh my, you would have thought her grandfather would be like, girl, don't you do that anymore, whatever. But he pressed charges. And so she's getting arrested. And then Dee Dee's mom had the audacity to bring Gypsy in there so she could see her mom get arrested. And I was like, sis, come on. But anyways, so Dee Dee is upset. She's like, don't let her see me like this. And her mom is just like, she's upset. And I'm like, you so dramatic. Like, you're doing that on purpose. I mean, we can see right through that. So then Dee Dee ends up having to go to jail, and they sentenced her to 6 months. And her mom said, yeah, you thought bringing that little girl here was going to soften the judge on, and, they were going to give you leniency and all that. But nope, you're going to go to jail. And so, I mean, her mom's just being so mean. And so Dee Dee is going to jail, but she's telling her mom, keep Gypsy on the routine I have for her. Keep her what the doctor says to do or whatever. And you could already tell her mom was not going to keep Dee Dee's routine going with Gypsy. You could already tell. But she tells her yes just to get her own. Go ahead with the police officers and go ahead and serve your sentence. Okay, so then so we flash forward, and Nick and Gypsy are at the bus station, and Nick did not buy the tickets, so they don't have any tickets, and they're like, the next bus is like 2 days away. So at this point, Gypsy is just looking at, like, she realizes, okay, I chose the wrong one on this one. So she's just upset. She's like, listen, Nick, just get just pay for the tickets. And Nick is like, I thought I pressed the okay and stuff, and I was just like, he hadn't really done anything right. Why would you trust him with that? But she did, and so now they're having to stay longer. And Gypsy just wants to go. She wants to get away because and they're gonna go live with his parents, his mom, and everything. Child, listen. So then we see Dee Dee is in jail, and she's sending letters to Gypsy, and she never gets anything back. So then we see Dee Dee finally gets out of jail, and her cousin picks her up, and she's like, Gypsy's gotten so big. So they pull up in the yard, and Gypsy is there, playing. And she's dirty. Like, her mom has let her eat chips. Like, her mom just let Gypsy be a child, but she didn't take care of her and keep her, in the way that Dee Dee's mom didn't keep her in the way Dee Dee wanted her to. And her mom is pretty much like, listen, you were gone for 6 months, and I did what I did, or whatever. So Dee Dee's mom lets Gypsy know. So they get into an argument about this, and Dee Dee's mom lets Gypsy know, when the police came, I'm not gonna lie, did anybody watch this and get kind of frightened? I was like, ooh, it spooked me the way she was talking to her. She was like, I could have told the police you weren't here, but I knew Gypsy was going to be better with me. It was kind of creepy the way she was doing it. And I was like, ugh, Mama, this is why Dee Dee was crazy. Like, not crazy. Well, this is why Dee Dee had issues. Because the mom was pretty much mentally abusive and emotionally abusive to Dee Dee. So it gives you that insight onto kind of what was going on. So anyways, Gypsy is crying and stuff, and she doesn't have her fever is like 99, low grade fever, but Dee Dee's giving her medicine and all that kind of stuff. So then we go flash forward to Nick and Gypsy have to check back into the hotel, and because Nick mixed up the bus tickets, so Gypsy hates being at this hotel because she wants to get out of there. She doesn't want to be in the same place where they've killed her mom and everything. and she continues to take this medication. So, and she gets upset because Nick can't take it because he's like, nah, he doesn't want to take a medication or anything with her. So then we go flash back to 1997 now. So Gypsy is about 6 years old at this point, and Dee Dee's mom can no longer walk. So we see that Dee Dee's mom, she's really supposed to be in hospice, but she doesn't want to go. She wants to die at home. So Dee Dee is taking care of her mom, and we see that her mom does this thing where she hates Dee Dee, but but she loves Dee Dee. It's kind of like, remember when Gypsy wanted to leave, but Dee Dee was like, please don't leave me. Y'all know how to. Please don't leave me. And so, although Gypsy wanted to leave, it was like she couldn't leave her mom. And that's kind of how it is with Dee Dee. It's like she wants to leave her mom, she just can't do it. So then, we see that her mom is taking like some, I think it was Percocet, and so then the doctor comes and he's like, is she taking anything, because she should not be having to take this high dosage of morphine, and it is not. She's taking a high dosage, it's doing nothing for her. And Dee Dee's like, I don't know, I don't think, not that I'm aware of, knowing she's giving that woman more meds, or whatever. And he just pretty much tells her she's only got a few days, to live. There's nothing else we can do. And so then Dee Dee goes in. So Dee Dee is, she's taking care of her mom, but she doesn't like her mom either. So her mom is calling her to come to the back room because she wants her for something. And Dee Dee turns off the TV. So then Dee Dee finally goes to the back room and she says, Mom, I'm here and everything. And she says, I know you love me as much as you could. Like, Dee Dee's trying to have a touching moment with her mama. And her mama said, you made it impossible for her to love you. And it's like, man, even on your deathbed, you're going to be emotionally abusive to her. And so then we go to the next scene is with Gypsy. Dee Dee's mom has passed. So Gypsy is on a breathing machine, and I was like, why is she on a breathing machine? Dee Dee's cousin comes in, and her two girls are playing on a trampoline. Now, Gypsy can't play on the trampoline because Dee Dee doesn't want her to, because she's like, you could crack your head and mess yourself up or whatever. So she gets distracted. Dee Dee gets distracted because Dee Dee gets distracted because her cousin gives Dee Dee letters that she sent for when she was in prison, and she was like, these aren't even open. And there are all those letters that Dee Dee sent in prison. Her mom never even, she wrote them to Gypsy for her mom to read. Her mom never even opened them and read them to Gypsy. So now Dee Dee's like, well, dang, I took care of her. And I was doing all this, and she really wanted me out of the picture. Like, she wanted Gypsy for herself. Like, she couldn't even do that. Like, I guess it showed how much her mom disliked her, I guess, for Dee Dee. And so then we see Gypsy is outside, and Dee Dee's like, Gypsy, where are you? And she goes outside, and Gypsy falls off of the trampoline. And so Gypsy is on the ground, and Dee Dee runs out, and Dee Dee's cousin is like, don't move her, and all that kind of stuff. And so, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is how it started. Now I don't know if that's the truth, but that's happens there. So Gypsy is frustrated with Nick, so she has went down to get her something to eat out of the vending machine. So as she's down there, this little girl, and the little girl was getting on my nerves too. But the little girl kept asking her mom for candy, and the mom was getting frustrated with the little girl, like, don't ask me for candy anymore. No, you may not have some candy. And so Gypsy can't take it because the little girl is like, mommy, 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 and she done killed her mom and everything. So Gypsy starts losing it, and she runs back upstairs, tries to get her and go inside, and Nick is taking forever to answer the door. So when he finally answers the door, he's like, oh, I was in the bathroom and I heard you knocking, but I didn't want to stop because I was in the bathroom. So I finished, and then I came and answered the door. And she's pretty much like, Nick, I need you to be like, do better, is what she's pretty much telling him. But she doesn't realize, like, he can't do better. Like you chose the wrong one. Like in her search to find someone to do this for her, because I'm sorry, I truly believe she searched for someone to do this for her. She chose the wrong one. Like, and it is what it is. And so, but he tells her he loves her, he'll never leave her, and they hug and everything. And then we see, I'm gonna just finish them out. So then we see they finally get on the bus and they're happy because they're finally getting to go home. And that's the first time I think we saw Gypsy really like happy because like so I skipped over it earlier, but her and Nick are being intimate and stuff, and she's realizing she don't even like that part of it. Like he's not great to her even with that part. So then we go back to the scene, go flashing back, and we see Gypsy gets out of the car, and her mom, Dee Dee, is carrying Gypsy, and Gypsy is like, "I can walk, Mom," because there's nothing wrong with Gypsy. She's been a perfectly healthy little girl this whole time, and she's like, "I can walk, Mom." And Dee Dee's like, "Well, when you get stronger." So then we see Gypsy goes in and sits on the couch. Dee Dee puts her on the couch. Didi brings her mother's wheelchair because remember her mom couldn't walk anymore because her mom had gotten pretty much bedridden and she had to be in a wheelchair and all that. So she brings her mom's wheelchair and puts Gypsy in it, and that is the beginning of the end as far as Gypsy being a healthy little girl. Because and I guess that's how they listen. I didn't like this episode. This was not my favorite episode. I'm gonna watch the next two because I haven't even watched the next two. Like I I could understand why, because I was like, why didn't they just put this episode, like when it first came on, I was like, oh, so we're about to find out how Dee Dee came like this. And you know how shows like to do that, where they get you all into the character and then they show you how they became that character. But honestly, I can see why they didn't put this episode out there, because I probably would have never even watched this TV. Like if they had put this as the first episode, I never would have even watched this because I didn't enjoy it. But that's just me. If y'all liked it, that's cool. That's cool. I just thought, I think the series is moving too fast. And even with this, it's moving too fast. Like, her mom was a shrew, but I think that if they had took time to build it some more, you could have really got into the psychological mindset of it all, with as far as with Dee Dee and her mom, and then they could have tied that into how that transformed into Dee Dee and it's just moving too fast. It's like slow, like that's the like, and it's a Hulu series, and I realize like everybody it's not Handmaid's Tale, because like, I love Handmaid's Tale, but I love one of the reasons I love them is because they take their time with moving the series along. It's still interesting, but they take their time. This seems a bit rushed, like they're just trying to hurry up and get to and it's like you didn't to me with this you didn't learn anything towards the end. Like you figured out, like you knew something had to happen with Dee Dee or whatever for her to be the way she was, but I don't feel like this showed enough of what that was. Like your mom being like your mom wanting to take your child and being emotionally and mentally yeah, like I could see, but why did she go turn to sickness? But anyways, I guess, and then they tried to say, well, she had always they tried to put it in there like, oh, she was taking her to the doctor. Oh, she wanted her to follow the doctor. But that still didn't like tie in for me how she got to where she was. And I guess she's not here to explain it, and all you could do is go off of, other people's. I don't know. It's just moving too fast for me. Y'all tell me what you think. Thank you.